Okay, Jets week, Thursday night football. Excited about this one. Excited about this opportunity that we have. I know Coach Sala well. I know a bunch of their coaches. They have very good players, really good schemes. So you got to go to get your homework done during a short week. You don't have the same amount of practices. You don't have the same amount of walkthroughs, meetings, et cetera. So you really have to do a good job as coaches and as players of preparing for Thursday night. And then, as you know, getting your bodies ready for Thursday night is another challenge for both sides. But offensively, score a bunch of points last week versus Washington, possessed the football for a long time, and I thought played really well. Trevor Simeon's a guy that I know. We'll see how that plays out over the course of this week, but Trevor's a guy that has played and won in this league. Zach Wilson's extremely athletic, can make all those throws. So we'll see how that plays out, but really good players. I think Garrett Wilson's as good as there is in the NFL. Really, he's a special player. So we'll have our hands full when we're facing their offense. Defensively, again, Coach Sala, Coach Olbrich, they do a great job. It's a scheme that is similar to ours. There's enough difference, in some of the things that they do versus what we do on defense. But really good players, great players in the back end, great players up front, linebackers that can run. And then special teams, they're ranked very high, good specialists, sound schemes. So we'll have to really be about our business on Thursday. On the injury front, Dustin Hopkins is week to week with his injury. He will not play this week. And then Dorian Thompson-Robinson will go on IR with a hip injury, unfortunately, that he suffered in that last ball game. So disappointed for both those guys, but we'll obviously continue to get the guys ready. And with that, I'll take any questions. It was when he got bent up a little bit there during the game.
What about Bahar Cat?
We'll see. Not sure yet.
And who would be your holder if he can't do it?
Working through it. It would be the punter. Yeah.
Did Corey get hurt on the kickoffs?
Yes.
Just because it's unusual?
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be like Thursday night at that stadium? I mean, you talk about it every week, but
Electric.
chance to win the play.
Electric. Yeah, I can't wait. Our fans have been incredible all season long. I feel like I say that over and over, but I mean it. I can't wait to get down there. Our team can't wait to get down there. Just need them to behave themselves for most of the day so that they're able to be with us in the fourth quarter.
Kevin, what about Riley and the initial conversations with him then, I guess?
Yeah, came in, did a nice job in his workout. Obviously has production in this league and in this season, so a guy we're comfortable with.
How much is it, he kicked for the Jaguars all last year, kicked in the playoffs. How important is that he has postseason experience?
Yeah, I think just the experience period is important when it comes to a kicker in this situation. But a guy that I think had a good workout, has good tape, believe in him.
He's down at the stadium today?
Correct. Yes.
Did the amount of injuries affect your kick coverage team last week that allowed that long return?
No, I don't think that's fair to say. I think we need to be better, and we will be.
You guys talked about that Jets game last year and watching that back and stuff. I mean, just how crazy is it to look at where you guys are now and Joe is in this building, for example, and looking back to that game in
I think, as you know, Ashley, these you can't predict this league. That's why everybody watches, and things happen throughout the courses of seasons and that type of thing, and faces change and different people come in. So in a lot of ways, it's similar teams schematically, and in a lot of ways, it's different.
You've had success taking deep shots, with this offense, but it just feels like with Joe, you guys have connected on more of those opportunities. Why do you think that is, and just what type of a shot in the arm has that long game with Joe infused in the offense?
Yeah, I think it's always dependent on the scheme that you're playing oftentimes. And then with shots, there's games, you go a bunch of games in a row, you hit all of them. You go a bunch of the games in a row, you can't hit a shot. Those come and go as well.
Like Joe, do you just have to live with some of those interceptions, or are you verbalizing to him that he needs to cut down on them?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call him a gunslinger, Mary Kay. The interceptions themselves, I mean, the deep shot to Marquise was a shot. We encouraged him if you got a similar look. I don't think maybe the ball hung up more than he wanted it to. And then the one at the end of the half, in a normal situation, you're kicking a field goal and those don't happen. So I appreciate that he's just giving our guys a chance in that situation.
Did you just not like what you guys saw out of DeAnthony Bell to kick that last one?
Yeah, I didn't want to put those guys in a tough spot, even where we were. I know it's a shorter field goal, but the operation, you could get it blocked. I just didn't feel like that was the right thing to do.
Kevin, as I recall, Dustin had a hamstring issue when he was out in LA. Is this the same hamstring?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Worse or better that it's the plant leg?
Probably better. Yeah.
Orquez is it's kicking leg though, left
Right.
quad, so that's not good.
We'll see.
Will your emergency punters and kickers get a little work this week in practice just in case?
Yeah, we feel good about that. Obviously, we feel good about our plan. We know, we'll have we'll have a kicker and a punter that we feel good about. We know that.
Kevin, has the seamlessness with which Joe has stepped in, has that even exceeded your expectations for what he would be able to do so early on, taking over for you?
Yeah, I'd say, being around some of those veterans over the years, Jake, they've seen a lot of football. They've played a lot of football. They've been in different systems. So I think there's guys that with that amount of turns and with that amount of years in different systems, they can come in and operate pretty quickly. Now, you got to be very intelligent and you got to work like crazy to do it. And I think Joe's done both those things. But I think there's enough similarity to the things that we're doing that he's done in the past, and I think he could lean into that experience.
The fact that the arm looks like this.
Who were you pointing to when you said
You.
that?
The fact that his arm looks like it did when he first stepped in the league. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's a great gift from God, I guess. He blessed him with that ability.
And all those characteristics you're talking about, does that allow Joe that extra half click to allow plays to develop downfield for routes to get deeper, all those kinds of things?
Yeah, I think the big thing, Tom, is he does have the ability to push the ball down the field and to all areas of the field. So not just the deep ball, but to be able to throw the ball from the right hash all the way outside the left hash. I mean, those are plays that obviously Joe can push the ball down the field.
And
When
Murray
this
was
game like you did against Houston, do you expect like the next defense to go above and beyond to try to take him away?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it all when it comes to Amari in terms of attention. You can cloud him. You can rotate a safety over the top in cover two. You can take your post safety and lean to him. You can bracket him. So we've really seen it all. Even on that first play, I mean, it's quarters. He's getting bracketed, but he ran through the bracket. So he gets attention. It doesn't mean that he can't still win, but it does open up opportunities for all the other players.
Murray was talking about this the other day, that he knows that even if Joe's getting dragged down, that doesn't mean the play is over because he has the arm to get it all the way across field, even when he's,
Yeah.
almost on his back. So, how does that help you guys? That it's just never over.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, Mary Kay, because that play in particular, Joe's so big, he's got people draped all over him, but he's hard to bring down and has the arm talent. He doesn't need to step into it. He can let it go with his wrist and still put enough on the ball. So that's again, a factor of his ability. But also, we've made plays off schedule. We've made some scramble drill plays, which, as you know, are so important and hard to find sometimes.
Kevin, I hear you say, of course, that you take shots and sometimes it doesn't work. But his ability, how much does that open up the playbook for you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the plays we're running, you just continue to run different iterations of things that you've done. But again, like we've talked about before, with shot plays, quote unquote, you still have a read. You have a top-down read oftentimes in that regard. So if the top guy is open, you give him an opportunity. And then if he's not, you bring the ball down. So there's times where you call him and you may call 10 shots in a game. If they don't give it to you, the look that you're anticipating, or they don't play it a certain way, you're never bored taking a nice completion on a check down.
You've been increasingly creative in scoring zone running plays this year. Is it out of necessity you've gone that way, or do you just look at the Chiefs and say they do it pretty good, so let's try it?
Yeah, we hard to copy what Coach Reed does with his guys. No, for us, it's always, Tony, just trying to find different ways to score. I mean, as you know, you get down there, it's hard. The field dimensions change. It's hard to throw it in. It becomes hard to run it in because you can't block everybody. So I think our coaches do an outstanding job of trying to find little wrinkles or nuance to things and to give your guys a chance. And we're very fortunate in the players that we have down there.
guys around the league talk about, or on this team go out and we talk about guys stepping in and talking to them and helping them get ready in the locker room even when they're hurt. For Dustin Hopkins specifically, like what can he do and what conversations can he have with Riley while he's out preparing him to kick in Cleveland in the dog pound on Thursday night?
Yeah, well, that's a good point, Cam, because I think the big thing is kicking in Cleveland's a little bit different than everywhere else. So naturally, he can share all the secrets of you know, our stadium and the wind and those type of things. So I think that's extremely helpful to have Dustin here with Riley in that regard. I think we had a couple guys in.
And so clutch for you guys. You would think that if you did make the playoffs, he would be a real weapon for you in that type of setting. Yeah. Are you confident that when you say week to week that if you did make the playoffs, he would be ready to go?
So I can't say. I don't know.
Tony asked you about getting creative. Have you ever run as much, I know it's only been a handful, but as much Wildcat as you have, and what about now has made you go to that? I don't know if we, like, I don't know the numbers offhand. I know with Tony Sperano at the Vikings, we ran a bunch of it. God rest his soul. He did a great job. Tony did that in Miami, if you remember. So we did it at the Vikings quite a bit, maybe 2017, 18. Yeah, it's always just what sometimes you see things on film where you feel like there might be an opportunity. If we do this, what would their reaction be? But it truly is a week-to-week thing. It's not you have to do a Wildcat or you have to do something special. It's really just based on what you think you're going to get from the defense.
Do you feel just as good about using PJ in some of of that spot duty that you did for DTR? And, you know, why are you pretty confident with him as your backup?
Yeah, we'll see in terms of the role, like you mentioned, Mary Kay. But, yeah, very confident in PJ. He's started games for us, won games for us, come in and won games for us. He knows our system, so very confident.
Some of the guys said they looked at that Jets game last year. Was that on their own, or did you show it to them?
I think you always look at, if you played somebody the week before, you watch that because you want to see how they operated in third down or short yardage, goal line. You always go back and watch it.
Kevin, because you guys have the early bye, and I know these Thursday night games are hard, but is there some benefit, especially for you guys as a coaching staff, that you're going to have 10 days between games and kind of get this mini bye coming up?
Yeah, I think that's always the benefit of the Thursday night game for sure. Is it's so hard to make it. And I say it's hard. I just have to stand on the sideline. These players have to get their bodies ready to go. So it's hard from that perspective. Once you get to Thursday, you do get a little bit of a breather on the other end. So every team kind of treats that as a mini bye, if you will. And pretty unique to have our bye so early and this one so late, but you're going to use it to your advantage and try to, make sure the guys are getting healthy.
Will you guys kind of do, I know you always do the self-scout at the bye week, will you guys kind of do a condensed version of that, especially with?
Yeah, a little bit of that as you evolve, and you do it really throughout the season. You're already doing that, but you will use that opportunity just to see where you are in the last month or so.
You going on the field today?
Yes. Yeah. Good. Okay, thanks, guys.